Dear friends, welcome back to my channel. Let's read. From the timeless collection of Kamla Das, let's read December. Let's begin with the story. She had just recovered from a long illness and was looking at thin, and her skin had a muddy hue. But he looked at her through his sunglasses and said, "You look all right. Are you all right now?" She nodded and hurriedly took his hands between hers, thinking how perfect his hands were, with the fingers squid and smooth, nails square, and the palms soft like women's. And she asked, "What shall we do today? Shall we just sit here and talk?" "Oh, it is cold outside," he said. "I thought you were to come with me to my place today. Don't you want to see my room?" "Yes," she said. "Yes, of course. I must see your room," and left with him, going down to the curving staircase, pressing his left arm to her side. In the car, he turned once to look at her and ask, "What are you thinking about?" And she smiled, not saying anything, for how could she tell him that she had, when very ill, promised God never to sin again, repeating several times, "Oh God, I shall give him up and think only of you." The promise had worked, but she was going to break her word, and with no greater qualms either. "I was worried about you," he said. "You don't know how I was worried about you." And she touched his knee and smiled. It was a windy morning, and when she got out of the car and walked with him past the lawns on the gravelled path leading to the cottage, she shivered slightly, and he said, "Are you sure? You are warm enough? You ought to have worn something thicker." But she shook her head, murmuring, "No, no, no, I'm not feeling cold." The walls were rough and painted a dull terracotta. As usual, there were books all over his bed, new and fresh smelling, and she picked them up, reading their titles and smelling the jackets, and laid them on the bed table near the alarm timepiece and the green ashtray. Lying down, stretching her legs, she thought, "Happiness is so simple. Just walk into his room and lie down, and I am so happy. But am I a happiness addict? Yes, and that is my problem." He removed his coat and sat down near her, looking down at her face and into her eyes with his red, bleary eyes, and she stroked his face, running with her fingertips along the wrinkles and over the blemishes, knowing deep inside that only when alone with him could her frustrations vanish. And then even the fact that she had not written one good line of poetry for the past several months did not seem to matter at all. "I am no good at anything these days," she thought. "All I know now is how to make love to this particular man." "What makes you smile?" he asked her suddenly, laying his head on her breast, and she kissed the top of his head, murmuring, my sweet," not answering his question. And for a long time afterwards, they were both silent in that room, with only the alarm timepiece ticking away and a bee humming from somewhere behind the windows. "Are you happy?" he asked her, and she nodded, while tears rose in her eyes. And not seeing those eyes, he asked, "You don't have any doubts, do you?" And she kissed his eyes shut with the feverish lips, whispering, "No, no, not any more. But though I have become soft and sentimental, I shall never be able to write again. I'm finished." Dear friends, this is the end of our short story. Please stay tuned for another such story. Also, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe the channel.